Okay, so we started with an exception handling, right? There are two, 3 points of painting related to that.
Yes.
We'll complete it. So until now, we have understood that there in the Python or in any programming language, there may be a chance of an error, right? So whenever there is an error, the error is not a problem. But the problem is due to this error, if we have 100 lines of code and if we're getting an error on a second line, then the rest line will be not get executed. So that's the problem we have today, right? So next 98 will not be execute. Next 98 or any suppose you have 1,000 lines of code, so then 998 line will be not executed, not execute. So to overcome this, we have seen in many language they have different kind of provision are there. That's called an exception handling. Exception handling. So in that topic, what we have seen, I'm going to tell. Like, first of all, we have observed there are many kinds of errors or exceptions. For example, we have seen the error called zero division error, which is related to the numeric one. If you see this, we have seen this error, which is called an index error. This is zero division error. So there are different kinds of error we have seen. And if you are not handle this error, so next line will be not get executed. But we handle this with the help of try and the expect block. So this in Java there is a try catch, but in this is a try and expect. So we have seen this, and there are many scenario we have found. One is this: in the single program, we can use multiple try catch. This is a one try catch block. This is a second try catch block. Apart from this, one more concept we have seen, and that is nothing but path. Like if you are in the single try catch block, if there are different kinds of error, right? So at that time, we can specifically tell them ki, like what kind of error you want to handle. So assume that if now instead of the exception, if I'm writing the type error, okay. So this expect only handle the type error. Okay, let me show you this type error. Type error. Oops. So this is expect for type error. Now this is a type error. So if you try to execute, it will handle automatically. The type error cannot be multiplied sequence by non-integer str types, normal flow, 1, right? But the drawback of this, I have already told you. If assume that if there is a no type error, there is an assume that there is an index error now, right? Assume that there's an index error. So in that case, it will be not work because we have specifically accepted only one kind of an error. So if you want to handle any kind of an error, so at that time you can go with an exception. So exception is a root class of all the exceptions. It will handle all kind of exception. There is one more option. If you can use multiple expect with the one try catch block. So this is also possible. For example, if you go with this expect now, this second type of error, index error, specify index. You can use a separate variable, for example, I. So now, so now it will handle the error called index error. See, the first properly get executed, and the second time you got the error that is index out of range, and the normal flow will be the one. So this is also the one of the provision with the help of single try can handle the multiple catch. If you want to specify the which kind of error you want to know, like that time you can use a multiple expect. This is one solution. right? But it will be now work on the sequential manner. That is also remember. Suppose now if you see this the code, there are two kind of exception. This is also the type
Sir,
error
I'm not
exception.
able to see anything. Your screen is not presented.
Oh, you are telling me very late. Okay, let me present screen. Okay, fine. Can you now see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I forgot the expected. Okay, let me do undo one more time. So it come to see what I'm trying to explain. We have seen that there is a single try catch expect to handle any kind of an error, right? So now assume that uh, if I execute this code, it will be work fine because the type of error it should be related to the type error. So there is not a problem at all because we're specifically handling a type error. But assume that there is not a type error. Okay, if there is a not type error, then the second type of error will be occur that is called index error. In that case, though we are writing the try and expect, but still it's throw the error. Why it's throwing error? Because we handle only type of error that is type error. What about an index error? Right? So one solution is instead of using a specific errors, you can directly go with an exception. So this will handle all kind of an error. Or the second option is you can use multiple catch or expect block with the help of single tries, which is the second kind of an error that is called index error. So what we need to understand here, with the help of one try, we can use multiple catch. See, this and this is properly worked. You got it? What is the concept? With the help of single try, we can use multiple aspect. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now just tell me, if I write this code over here. Now, if you observe the code carefully, then you come to know there is a two errors. The first is a type error, second is an index error. And we are handling both the error, right? Type error also
Yes, sir.
and the index error also.
Yes, sir.
And now, what do you think? So, which error occurs first? It will throw both the errors, or it will throw the type error, or it will throw only index error.
So both errors and
Both
type
errors.
error will come first.
And the second time,
Index error.
no. So actually, this will not work like this. It will work only the type error because that is the concept we are trying to understand from the last lecture. Whenever there is an error occurs, that further program will be get terminated. It won't go the next. It directly handle the
Yes.
exception, right? Now
Yes.
just imagine if I am writing a code before this. Okay. Now, what which error should occur?
Index error.
Index error. Sorry. So there may be something indentation block issue. Yeah, this is it's what? Index error.
Index error.
So from this we'll come to know. So whichever the error come first, that error occurs. It's clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And it may happen that there should be no error. This is also fine. Now, which error it throw now?
Type error.
Type error. It not matter it is writing first or letters. Whichever the error occur, accordingly that will be thrown. And it's
Yes.
not compulsory, it will throw always throw errors. Sometimes we have both the code are correctly. Since there is no error, both line will be get executed perfectly. So there are all possibilities. Right? right? So this is how the try catch block works. Now there are two more things in the exception. There is one keyword is called a finally. Okay? So the finally is a kind of block which executed every time. Okay? I'll tell you the exact use of the that word, but now you just understand the finally. So the finally block is always comes with the try catch only. Okay. So if you want to use a finally, you must use a try catch block. So let's understand now one of the errors, any error you can get, even though if you try to get the something, if I s is equal to null, or let me say that is an empty, sorry, empty. Okay. And if I'm trying to get the s lane of s, okay. So let me use the expect except 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 on exception. What's meeting? C is visible. Exception as colon this VRA into printer E. Now let's try this. See. So len taken exactly one argument, 0. So sorry. There is an exception, right? Because you are not passing any argument to get the length of that. Let me pass S here. So it's given 0, right? So if I'm using the len function and if you're not passing anything, so that giving an exception. Which exception? Exactly 0 is given. So any kind of an error that is thrown. So now what I want to explain you, sometime you want to print a log, like how many times this program is get executing. So what I'm going to use, like I'm going to use a simple print statement here. Print. Uh, Suppose file name. Any file name I can use. File one execute. CUTEXT file one executes. Now I see. See that line is working? No. Why it is not working? Because we are having error here
Then, yeah.
and it directly go to the catch block.
Yes.
Perfect. Then what I'm doing, I'm going to remove this now. So I'll just cut this print statement and I'm going to write here. So like this. Now it will work. Perfect. It is working. Right. So I'll now come to know which file is get executing. Up to this correct? Here it is throwing error that we are writing here. The file one is executes. Perfect. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now just assume if I'm writing S, so it will throw error. It will not throw
Yes.
error, right? Because it's a length of
No.
S. S is having characters.
Yeah.
So at that time, again it will not execute. So the dependency of this statement will be whether error occurs or error not occurs. But you want it compulsory would be executed. So at that time, in the Pythons or in any language, there is a provision called a finally lock. So I'm going to use a finally. So the finally is a block which is always get executed, whether error occurs or not occurs. Now there is a no error, no problem. That file one will be get executed. And assume that if there is an error, still the file one will be get executed. Got it? So the finally is very important to maintain the log. So whenever there is a system get crashed, okay, at least the finally block is get executed. So the what is the last error? If you want to print a very important log file executing file, something error occurs or not error occurs. This will always keep printing. Okay. The use of finally block is simple. It is always get executed. This log always, okay. So always get executed. Okay. Use of finally block is always get executed. It's clear? Okay. Now it is okay, na? Let's finally understood. Finally, wow. Hello. Hello. Okay, okay. But you able to hear me, right? You can message me. Okay, cool, cool. Fine. So now there is one more point is pending, and that is in custom exception. When I'm saying the custom exception, that means user defined exception. User defined. Like a function also we have seen the user defined function. In that way you can use like you can use custom exceptions. When I'm saying the custom, that means we can define our own error, okay, at particular conditions. So there are built-in error, many built-in error are there. We have seen the type error, index error, zero division error. In the similar manner, we can define our own exception also. So that's one of the point is pending in the exception. Let's take a simple example. Okay. So I'll write custom exp. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm going to write one of the function simple age, and where I'm accepting as age. Okay. What I want to do, if the age is suppose if the age a is less than 18, then I want to raise one of the exception, RAIC, raise. Okay. Raise value error. But this error is our own custom defined exception. So the error should I write age should be greater than 18. 18 and
18 and
greater, GREATER. This error I want to print. Else, like simply print age is equal to comma a. Okay. The simple function here, right? Suppose assume that if I want to call this function, I will call this age of suppose 5. Now after calling this function, it will throw an error. Uh, Invalid syntax.
would not be equal to.
Screen is not visible.
It is visible.
Yeah. What error we have got? Value error. age should be greater than 18 and greater. And this error is generated by us. It is a custom error, right? So in that way, we can generate our own error. But how to handle this error? We know that we have to call this function within the try and the catch block or expect block. Try except except exception as a colon yara and print e.
Yes.
See. So this is what the custom exception. Right. What are we having? Age should be greater than 18 or sorry 18 and not 18 or greater. Okay, right? If I pass the age properly, for example 52, then it will print proper age, right? So this is what the custom exception. Simple. So the exception part is this much only. So the simply exception means to handle us different kinds of errors. Whenever there is error occurs, so at that time we can handle the error. So to handle error, there is a concept called an exception. So exceptions are different types. First of all, we can handle error with a try and the except. Okay, I'll write all the format. She'll come. So try except 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 exep one exception as a e colon Sierra anti printer e. Here is line of code. Okay, this is first part. Second part, there is single try, single except. You can directly use. The second part is you can go with a different kind of an error. For example, the type error, right? You can go with the type error also, or else except except index error also as I error integral time. So this is one of the possibility we have seen. And the third part, what we have done, final block. So try catch, and there is called finally. And finally is always get execute. Always work. Or and the last part, what we are seeing, arrays. So you can write our own defined function, def age, except any age where, for example, e. So we write here if the age is greater than 18, then you can raise error here. RAISE, raise any error value, ERR value error, or any message you can do, give it WLWB value error. Invalidates. Okay. So this is also the one of the exception. It's called custom exception. So this much part we are done, which is all about the exception and handling errors. Okay. You understand? At least we know that whenever there is an error, we need to use a try and expect block to handle such a kind of equations. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about exception handling.